everybody, it's Heather Summers. I'm the senator from the 18th District, and I'm here to give you an update from the Capitol. It's Friday night around 7:30, so I hope you're out having fun. We are here busy getting to work in the Capitol. Just to give you a little overview, we're going to work through the weekend, and we only have till next Wednesday, I believe at midnight, to finish up the business here. So we're going to have a quite busy schedule for the next 5 days. I wanted to reach out and let you know of some of the interesting bills that have passed that I have either sponsored or worked on in public health. The first one that I'm most proud of is something that I initiated last session, starting with a public hearing after we were made aware of the abuse that was happening at the Whiting Forensic Facility. So today we were able to pass a bill that does the following. We create an independent task force made up of complete outside views to come in and to oversee some of the things that are happening at Whiting. Whiting is going through a transition, and in this bill we will require it to be licensed as a hospital, which has not happened until today. I know it's supposed to be a hospital, but it wasn't licensed as a hospital until this bill passes. The task force will look at things like the culture at Whiting. It will look at how patient complaints are handled. It will look to the board that oversees Whiting to make sure that board is made up of the right people, the right number of people, the right people with the right credentials. This task force has been asked to look at things like the definition of abuse and neglect. Are our statutes too broad? Are they too narrow? Should they be changed? It also, one of the most important things that this task force will be charged with is looking at the idea of a standalone inspector general for the Whiting CVH facility. This would enable people to go in a confidential manner to an individual who is separated from the facility. They would be able to lodge complaints, to be able to feel free and confident that whatever they bring to this person, whether it's financial, allegations of abuse, that would be confidential and that person would be protected. In addition to the task force, we have required that everyone working at Whiting and CVH Hospital, actually within the DEMIS facility that has contact with a patient or a client, is now going to be required to be a mandatory reporter. Under the DEMIS SOPs or standard operating procedures, an employee should be somebody who is mandated to report. However, that's very different than being in statute as a mandated reporter. And with that comes the responsibility of, if you do not report either abuse or neglect of a patient or a client, there's fines and penalties and actually misdemeanors that can be lodged against an employee for that. The last thing that this bill does is it requires the Department of Public Health and their inspectors, which are equivalent to what I would consider an auditor, and they're fantastic, by the way. They're actually called DPH investigators. It requires them to provide the task force that we're setting up, along with the Public Health Committee, the detailed information as far as what's going on with the transition from Whiting and CVH. They will go in on these on-site inspections. They will be able to provide to us information on the new policies that have been implemented. Has there been training for employees? Has the training gone well? Are they following the procedures? Have we set this up properly as an independent standalone hospital? So those are just a few of the items that are within the Whiting bill. I think everybody in this legislature understands that we need to remove the dark cloud that we have over us with what has happened, which is completely unacceptable in any time, and especially here in this day and age in Connecticut. And we are looking forward to having this legislation pass downstairs in the House and to really look at starting a new day here in Connecticut, changing the way that we take care of those who are really compromised and most vulnerable. We have an opportunity now to set up the Whiting Forensic Hospital as a model for other states to follow, and I'm looking forward to that. And this legislation is the first step in that process. I do want to thank all of the people that came out to the public hearing that I pushed for, and those include people that are advocates, patients, former patients, employees that are working there that are begging for change. This is our opportunity to do that, and I'm very proud of this legislation. It's a bipartisan effort, and I will keep you posted on how that moves through the system. The other bill that I think is very exciting, we have a few, is a new telehealth bill that we've just passed out of the Senate. This bill will allow a physician who is licensed in Connecticut and has gone through the telehealth process to be able to provide telehealth services for those that are suffering from addiction and also those who are suffering from mental illness. Right now that's a carve out and they're not allowed to do telehealth for those particular issues that someone might have. However, under this legislation that is in compliance with the federal code, a patient would have to go one time to the psychiatrist or to the child psychologist, and after that they would be able to meet with them via telehealth. Telehealth is something that is really we're going to see more of that going forward. That means that I could be here in the Capitol, my doctor could be in New London, Connecticut, or in Groton, Connecticut. I could have my visit via Skype or on the phone, and I would be able to see my physician in that way. And this is really, really important, especially in the areas where we are so compromised for the number of available doctors. One of them is huge, is addiction doctors and psychiatrists, especially child psychologists. So you can imagine if you had a child who was on something like Vyvanse or Ritalin for attention deficit disorder. In order for you now to see this child psychologist, should that be the person prescribing, you would have to take your child out of school, you would have to travel, you would have to spend time in the car. Now, under this new bill, it gives parents, it gives children, it gives those suffering from really difficult situations to be able to have an opportunity or the option of telehealth. And that, I believe, passed by consent also out of the Senate. The last bill, and these are not in an order of importance, is an IDD bill. This is for the intellectually disabled. This is a bill that is so important for so many families around Connecticut. And what it does is it sets up a task force again that can study different models and opportunities for folks so they have different opportunities for living conditions. It could be a group home. How do we put this in play? We have a large waiting list, and I'm excited that this task force will be made up of the individuals that are actually either have direct knowledge of this, have a child with this situation, have a family member. So we want to make sure that we're empowering the people that have this situation to make the decisions that are best for them. Along with this is a wonderful program, which is a pilot program that is going to be entered into in 3 different areas with the ARC out of Groton, Connecticut. Hi to the ARC. You're doing a great job, Kathleen. And it will provide a certain number of people an opportunity to move from their current living situation to something different that they choose. It's exciting times here. It's very busy. I have to go now because I'm getting called in the Senate. I hear it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow, so enjoy your Saturday. I'll be here and I'll keep you updated. Thank you.